on Sky.
Sky Sports. It's live. Live it.
Rugby League on Sky Sports is sponsored by Stan James, your best bet for all the action.
They're the two most famous universities in the world. From these colleges come the men who shape the fortunes of the great and the good. The dreaming spires of Oxford and Cambridge. And the boat race on the Thames remains one of Britain's biggest social occasions, a highlight of the sporting calendar. And to win an Oxford or Cambridge blue at Twickenham is seen by many as the pinnacle of sporting success in the other code. But now it's the turn of the Rugby League match students to shine, as for the first time ever, the Varsity League game is televised live to the nation. It's the biggest night of the students' Rugby League life, and Paul Johnson inside the Oxford University dressing room, the coach, just giving some last-minute tips to his men. Same thing's happening just down the corridor. John Evans, coach of Cambridge, shaking hands and wishing his men well. Now, one of the big highlights of this evening is the pre-match dinner hosted before the Varsity match, attended by luminaries from both university and special invited guests, including, on the left there, Steve Evans, a member of Hull's 1985 Challenge Cup final team that lost to Wigan. So it's the 24th P-Cubed Rugby League Varsity match, the student game's highest profile event. The Richmond Rugby Club stages the big night as last year's winners and favourites Oxford take on the men in light blue from Cambridge. The 2004 Varsity match live on Sky Sports for the very first time. Confirmation, if needed, that the student game has come of age. And here to watch with me in the studio, two former London Broncos. Adi Spencer is a former Cambridge Blue who played and won 4 Varsity matches in the 90s before turning pro and causing quite a stir. And alongside him, his former London Broncos teammate, Tolson Tollett, a graduate of the University of Life, who, by the way, wants me to point out that he is a Bachelor of Physical Education from his university days in Sydney. Gentlemen, it's great to see you both. Adi, particularly you, because you're straight from the old boys' game. Give us a report. How did you get on?
We did okay. We managed to sneak a victory. We won 64-14, but I don't think it was a fair reflection on the Oxford team that they played very well. And it's, in all honesty, more of a social affair, so it was good fun to meet up with some old friends. And
you're here in all your glory. That's a Cambridge tie and a Cambridge shirt as well.
It is, yes. Looking forward to it. I played 10 years ago my first Varsity match, so it's been a while. But it's such a great showpiece occasion, particularly for the student game. And this will be, in all honesty, the most important game that these guys play in, perhaps, you know, in their lives. So it's important. They're all going to be highly motivated, nervous. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
It's come a long way, hasn't it? I mean, it began very humbly, the university match, Rugby League between Oxford and Cambridge.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
You were almost having to play incognito, all of you, weren't you?
Not far off. I mean, you know, it's making waves now. We've managed, both teams have got great sponsors, with P-Cubed involved with the Varsity match. It's great that we've now got an actual sponsor for the game. We've got the actual function beforehand, which draws people from the city and, like you said, you know, sports personalities. It's fantastic for the game, and you know, I think it's an important, integral part of the student rugby league world, and spreading the name of the game, because these guys hopefully going to go on to be captains of industry. You know, they're future politicians. They're the kind of guys we need ultimately to bring sponsorship into the game. So it's fundamental. Yes, we've been saying that on Sky Sports for the last 10-12 years or so. Tolson, I know that you would soon, I'm sure, be at the pre-match function, but it's great to have you here in this year. What sort of standard do you think we will see tonight?
I think we'll see a very good standard. We're arguably the two of the most influential universities in the world, two of the best-known universities in the world. And as Adi mentioned there, guys who are going to go through sponsorship in the future, but this is all about grassroots rugby league and about bringing players through. And I certainly think this is going to be a magnificent showpiece occasion.
Indeed so. Well, let's take a look, first of all, at the coin toss. This is a very important moment, of course, and the captain of Cambridge there, Bobby Forrest, almost had the first knock on, but he's with the match referee, Ashley Klein, Super League referee, of course, and his opposite number, Johnny Scholes, the captain of Oxford, on the left. It looks like Oxford have decided to kick off, and rather to defend one way or the other, and Cambridge it is who will be kicking this match off in a few moments' time. But even the coin toss getting applause from the function. Let's take a check on the way the two sides line up. This is Oxford. They have Matt Scaife at full-back. Then it's Alex Edmonds, John Corcoran, Llewellyn ap Gwilym in the centres with John Bradshaw on the wing. Graham Barr and Johnny Gorry is the scrum half. And then the forwards, Peter Raftery, Johnny Scholes, the hooker and captain, Joe Clark, Dan Cooper and Dan Barrett in the second row, and Chris Fitzgerald is at loose forward. And waiting for a chance on the bench, Johnny Clayton, James Dieppe, Ben Dunnett and Andy Clements. And the coach, we've already seen him once this evening, is Paul Johnson. Now the men from Cambridge. Jamie Franklin is the fullback. Dan Fritz, Andy Charlton, Jared Smith and Tom Finnegan. It's Ed Hales and Paul Marchand at the scrum half. And the big men up front, Roger Hensman, Nick Rustling, Andre Bettinson. Interesting story about him we might get to in a moment. Hugh Thomas, Craig Bennett and Bobby Forrest, who's the captain. And on the bench, Sam Udan, Sam Gluck, Rodri Hughes and Alex Fries. The coach is John Evans. Right, I think it's probably almost time to go to Richmond. This is the scene inside the ground at the moment. Let's just talk for a minute, Adi, if we can, about this fellow Andre Bettinson. Kazakhstan, he's come a long way to play in this match.
Absolutely. I think he's without doubt the first Kazakhstani to play in the Rugby League varsity match, if not in any varsity match of any type. These guys come from all different walks of life, and that's the great thing about it. Student Rugby League is a great way to introduce new people to the game. Most people will get their first sample of rugby league whilst at university, be they plays of other sports. So it's great, and it spreads the gospel, as it were, to different parts of the country.
And there's Colin Welland, who is a permanent fixture almost at this event. Well, it's live on Sky Sports for the very first time, so let's go over to the Richmond Rugby ground for this varsity match between Oxford and Cambridge. And we join our commentary team. Ben Pro is on the sideline. In the commentary box, Steve-O, Phil Clark. But first of all, let's hear from Bill Arthur.
Thank you, Eddie. And Ashley Klein, our referee this evening, ready to get us underway here at Richmond. And the tension is palpable, Phil, and we've sampled it. We've been with Oxford and Cambridge in the build-up to this game, and I think we're just beginning to grasp what this means to these two teams.
It's certainly a do-or-die game for both of them, isn't it? When you spend time with them, you realise how passionate they are and the importance of the game in both academic establishments. If anything, really, the guys have got to really just try and play the game rather than play the occasion and stay relaxed.
And it's Cambridge getting us underway with Jamie Franklin there, fullback, kicking off. And a first touch for the Dark Blues and a first hit by this Cambridge pack, and they were there in numbers to greet Oxford, and I think we can expect plenty of that because there's so much at stake. Oxford have won 3 of the last 4 meetings in this challenge, which has been running now since 1980, and Cambridge feel they've scored a settle as Llewellyn ap Gwilym makes an early break. He's got support outside him from Johnny Bradshaw, and Bradshaw is away, and John Bradshaw, the South African, will get the first try of the game. Oh, what a start for the Dark Blues.
Well, brilliant example there of the skill that we know and the speed of the Oxford backline. John Bradshaw, the quickest player on this field. All of the, when we went round watching them train, they said if we can get the ball to John Bradshaw in space, he can go the length of the field. It was good work from dummy half, Johnny Scholes. He put ap Gwilym through the hole, and then they just knew when the ball was in his hands. Matt Scaife had all on really to try and catch him. He's a quality and talented winger with so much pace that he was able to come around and put the ball close to the post, and a perfect start for Oxford University.
Super pass though, wasn't it, from the captain, Johnny Scholes. Great to see a side test their arm early, deep from within their own quarter. They really caught Cambridge napping there. Nice swan dive to finish it off.
Graham Barr converts the try, and John Bradshaw, a rugby union blue, played in the varsity, the drawn varsity match last year, has made his mark in this rugby league match. And what a mark it is. The South African, who's played provincial rugby union in South Africa, on the end of that break from Llewellyn ap Gwilym. And so Oxford have made the perfect start, and both camps, both coaches, John Evans and Paul Johnstone, just admitting that both their teams were very, very pepped up before this game, very nervous, and that certainly will settle the Oxford nerves, and I'm sure give Cambridge notice of just what they're up against this Oxford University side.
That's Dan Cooper just playing the ball in the head guard. He had a memorable first varsity match last year.
Oh, yes, it lasted all of 26 seconds, and that's reckoned to be the earliest exit from a varsity match, probably one of the earliest exits from any match, notwithstanding Adrian Morley's effort last year, but he got knocked out after 26 seconds, did Dan Cooper. Cambridge now have their first real chance to test this Oxford defence after that mistake from the Dark Blues, and off goes Tom Finnegan, one of the Mancunians in the side. There are several Mancunians in these two sides. And in Craig Bennett, and real rugby league pedigree for Craig Bennett, comes from St Helens, has played for St Helens Academy, and I think technically is still a member of that Saints Academy side, Bennett.
And probably the only one on the entire pitch who comes sort of from a traditional rugby league background, all the rest new to the game.
The break from Ed Hales, fifth tackle. Ashley Klein urging them to release him so that Cambridge can get a quick play of the ball. That's a poor kick, though.
Poor match, and he tried to put the ball into the in-goal area, but if anything, maybe a slight breeze behind the Cambridge side. We've seen what distance they've got from the kickoffs, and they'll want as best possible to trap Oxford down in their own half.
Not the best kick, though, really, and they look very unsettled at Cambridge at the moment. They're on the ropes, but that mistake could put them in.
And the referee, Ashley Klein, will bring it back for that knock-on. And they were just trying to be ambitious again, having tasted success down that left-hand side once already. They were going to go for it again, weren't they?
Probably the greatest danger that Oxford pose really is when Johnny Scholes runs from dummy half. We've already seen him create one chance, which was turned into a try. A poor pass on that occasion, but the Cambridge markers will have to work hard to prevent him from running dangerously from the dummy half position.
Andy Charlton takes Cambridge inside that Oxford 40. And they've got men stacked out wide as Ed Hales takes them a little bit closer.
Good tactics as well, Bill, from Cambridge. They just want to settle things down, just get slowly but surely, get themselves back into this game, not panic.
The captain, Bobby Forrest, takes the tackle. Cambridge with a great opportunity here. Fifth tackle now then. They need a better kick this time, and the ball comes back to Hales. Hales puts the kick in, and the situation defused by Bradshaw.
Probably one of the problems there for the Cambridge side was that the favoured kicker, really, Paul Marchant, had been caught in possession, had to play the ball. Ed Hales then put the kick in too deep, and again the pressure's relieved. Joe Clark takes it up in a big strong run for him, gains 10 metres.
He did lots of damage to Cambridge in last season's varsity match. Joe Clark, the 20-year-old from Barnard Castle. Well, Oxford having had that dream start, and now here's Graham Barr, and he knows this ground very well. Graham Barr, former London Broncos academy player, had about half a dozen games with the Broncos before he got injured. He's now back playing rugby union and has played on this ground about a dozen times, Barr. And offside, first penalty of the game will go to Oxford.
Well, it was Roger Hensman who was in front. The referee was trying to get him back onside. Probably one of the most difficult things, Steve, when you first start playing rugby league, probably from a rugby union background, is to get into the habit of getting back that 10 metres. It seems alien to them at times.
Yeah, it does, but I think, Clarkie, you've got to admit that this Cambridge side, they were rocked by that early score. And their coach really has to get the message out. John Evans is to tell him that just slowly but surely, concentrate. You've got to work as a unit. And when you could see that wide shot, there was 4 or 5 hanging back. and another 4 to 5 going forward. You've got to go forward as a unit.
Alex Edmonds felt that tackle. Edmonds, former Bradford Grammar School pupil. And Oxford on the charge again. Good work from Joe Clark once more. Oxford Cavaliers player Clark. Barr's got away from one. It's a great ball from Graham Barr and a good run from Dan Barrett. And Barrett has got him inside the 20. Here they go with Gorry. Llewellyn ap Gwilym is tackled. They're about 9 metres out now. Here is Johnny Scholes. Scholes going on his own. And he's still going. He's brought down just a couple of metres out. That's the 5th tackle. Gorry is there. Needs a good kicker. Are they going to run it? They are. And they could be in here. They are in. And it's Joe Clark who's got the try. A second try for Oxford. And the big prop forward, Joe Clark, was on the end of that. A power play.
Well, you've seen the confidence, haven't you, in the Oxford side there. They know that if they get close to the line, Joe Clark, probably the most powerful player on both teams, really, and close to the line with the space and time like that, he's got to find a way over the line. And Oxford at the moment just so happy with the flow of the game. It's a good quick pass there. Graham Barr thought, I'll give it to Clark, give him the ball, he can take on the defender, bit of footwork, put him outside the man and through the hole for the second score.
Graham Barr successful with his first attempt. The 23-year-old should add these 2 points as well. That he does, and what a dream start it's been for Oxford. They're ahead by 12 points to 0 already.
And good work yet again from the hooker and the skipper, Johnny Scholes. He took the ball on his own, went very, very close to the line, but you could actually see him telling his colleagues, don't bother with the kick, get the ball out wide. Cambridge were anticipating that kick, and they just threw the dummy. Good hands. They're in full control of this game at the moment, are Oxford.
Cambridge just need to get their hands on the ball, really, for a few sets of 6. As Franklin restarts once more. And here is Clark, the try scorer.
I think you would have to say, though, Bill, I mean, they've had 2 chances to score and they've scored 2 tries. That really does emphasise the quality and the way that they've probably prepared for this game, Oxford.
That'll be a penalty. No, knock on. Peter Raftery was the culprit, yep.
Well, then maybe this is an opportunity now. Cambridge, it's a great attacking position, and we know that they've worked hard at some scrum players here from this position in the field.
So Cambridge right in front of those posts now. Marchand goes on his own, but not far. They were waiting for him. Graham Barr with the tackle. Rustling is there now. Good support from Craig Bennett. Ashley Klein really trying to communicate with these players. There is Andre Bettinson, the prop from Kazakhstan via Newcastle upon Tyne. They go down the short side. Good defence once more as Jared Smith is tackled just a couple of yards short. Now Marchand with the little grubber kick, well fielded it was by Matt Scaife, I think that was.
He did very well there, Scaife. He had to be brave, had to go down, there were boots flying, but he put himself over the ball. An important pick-up there. Now you see the dummy half runs now from Oxford. Ap Gwilym, a big strong centre, saw him with an early run, but it's Scholes' work rate and distribution from the dummy half position that is the key to everything that Oxford create.
There is Scholes delivering for Graham Barr. Barr had a player on his shoulder, but big defence from Cambridge there forces Dan Barrett into the error.
Great tackle from Bobby Forrest. He knew the man was coming short and hard, but he was prepared to go into it even harder.
Yeah, super hit, wasn't it? Notice how he didn't just go into the tackle, but make sure that he came into the ball carrying arm and dislodged it. Good play by the loose forward.
Franklin goes down the blind side. There is Johnny Scholes, the hooker and captain for Oxford, and a big Widnes fan. Went to watch him with his granddad very early on. But this is, ironically, when he got to Oxford, that was the first opportunity he had to play rugby league.
Well, it just goes to show how much you can learn from simply watching the game.
But here come Cambridge. Oh, the ball comes still. 6 more. Yep, Ashley Klein has wipe the tackle count clean for an Oxford hand in there, and this is a great opportunity for Cambridge, but that's good defence.
Strong, isn't he, Joe Clark?
But they need to be strong again here now, because here comes Roger Hensman. Hensman just a couple of metres short. Rustling is there. Marchand, they've got numbers out wide, they must be in. Oh, they should have been in, they still could be, and they are. And the try from the skipper, Bobby Forrest. Cambridge fight back has started, and Forrest tells his players, come on, we're on the scoreboard now.
Well, they were put into this position really by the chance they created out wide. They got 6 to go again. There's the pass, you see, it's knocked back from Dan Cooper with the head guard from the Oxford side. The referee says 6 to go, play on. And from that position, they shifted the ball quickly. We thought they'd missed the opportunity. Hale's first caught in possession, but a brilliant offload out the back. And the captain, Bobby Forrest, took the chance with the space there to go over the line and get his side right back into the game. They had to score, I think, for their own self-confidence. And Bobby Forrest, the captain, made sure he did that.
And a big decision by the official, Ashley Klein. There's an incident there where I think it was Cooper that got the hand to the ball, but normally within the scoring, making the tackle, if you knock the ball and not look at the football, then it should have been play on. Very fortunate, but as you say, Clarkie, Cambridge needed that just to steady the nerves.
Paul Marchand has missed with the conversion, but at least Cambridge have, as Steve-O says, got their points on the board. 12-4 the scoreline. And that will maybe settle their nerves.
Yeah, listening to both coaches into the build-up to the game, they said that, if anything, they were just becoming over-anxious than players. And so they needed some luck, some opportunity. There's the decision that went in their favour.
Yeah, and I really think that in the Super League that would have been picked up, I'm sure.
The crowd in fine voice here at Richmond. Several good pubs in the vicinity. I think they've been sampling the product.
Well, you're looking at me then, Bill. And
offside goes against Oxford. What a slur that would be, eh?
It certainly would.
Marchand will get a bit of distance with this kick. The wind behind them. He's also found the gantry. Just about on the halfway line now. Rustling with the tap.
Well, we've seen what Oxford can do in attack, but it's their turn to defend, and at the moment, just a disjointed defensive line. Some players back with the referee, others not. And it's Hensman who takes advantage of that. There's a roll-on and momentum here now with Cambridge.
There certainly is, and Marchand once more. Good step from Marchand, the scrum half for Cambridge. And Cambridge have their tails up now. Again, they've got numbers on that left-hand side. They come infield with Hugh Thomas. Thomas goes to ground about 3 metres out. Just to the left of those posts, Marchand. Here is the fullback, Jamie Franklin. Franklin is taken higher. Good tackle from Llewellyn Gwilym. Needed to be, because if he got past him, he was through. Marchand puts the kick in straight into the midriff of the Oxford defender.
It was quite fortunate then that he was blocked, wasn't he, in his run?
It was John Bradshaw who was in the way.
You posed a question, Bill, in regards to Oxford defence, and I just got the impression there that after a wonderful start, they're not moving up as a unit. They're hanging back, and they're allowing Cambridge far too much room.
Joe Clark it was with the run. And Peter Raftery, and it was his referee just a moment ago who intercepted that kick and nipped that Cambridge attack in the bud. Oh, Gorry felt that, and touch judges on. Well, he doesn't need to be on, because Ashley Klein saw that, and Johnny Gorry is down.
I think it's Andy Charlton who catches him high. Oh, the legs bend back too. It looks, it's stuck under his body for an age.
Yeah, that looks really bad, and it was an awful attempted tackle there by Andy Charlton.
He seems to be talking.
Well, let's hope he's going to be okay.
That
but
just means he's not killed him, you mean, Bill? I do hope he's okay.
Well, the leg really went underneath. I think they're more concerned, not so much with the high tackle. It is a penalty, we know that. And Ashley Klein surely will have a little bit of a word with the centre. Yeah. That was a bad one. Well, but look at the leg underneath. That is probably what the physiotherapists are worried about.
Well, he's up. He's Bouncing around again is Johnny Gorry. He's only 5'6", but he's a real live wire.
He wants
the
the ball.
Dark Blue scrum up, and there he is. He's involved once more. He wants more of it.
Well,
this is a game they don't want to miss.
He's one tough hombre, this fella, isn't he?
He is. Graham Barr. Here's the first try scorer, John Bradshaw. And it's Oxford on the attack once more. Barr finds Matt Scaife, and Scaife onto Dan Cooper. Cooper is tackled right in front of the post, about 20 metres out. Barr is there now. Here is Johnny Scholes. Scholes, support comes from John Corcoran. Fifth tackle, and Graham Barr marshalling the troops, and Barr will put a crossfield kick, I think, in for Bradshaw, and Bradshaw is going to get on the end of this.
He's gone over the dead ball line.
Oh, poor John Bradshaw cannot believe that.
Well, if anything, Bill, you'd have to defend. A bit of confusion as he caught the ball. There are two lines, in fact. One for when the Rugby Union have an in-goal area, and the first line is the end, the dead ball line for a Rugby League game. It's about 7 metres from the try line.
And it was a lovely kick by the standoff Graham Barr. Fully deserved the 4 points, but just amazing, isn't it? I'm with you, Clark. You know, that he was confused, two lines there. It's a natural thing to do, get the ball and go over the line.
Marchand's gone for a 40-20 here. Oh, unlucky, it didn't have the run on it. And it's back with John Bradshaw. Well, Bradshaw means to make amends. He's brought down and tackled into touch by Marchand. Good work from the Cambridge scrum half. So an eventful passage of play for John Bradshaw.
Well, pretty good play. Took him on the outside. He backed himself up, Marchand with a superb tackle there now. Here's the kick from Graham Barr. This is real quality. Look at the accuracy there. It's hung up for him, but he can't get the ball down in time.
Oh, he'll be kicking himself.
Well, he honestly and basically he thought that he had gone over the try line, no doubt about it.
But to be fair, you're looking up in the air, looking for that kick, and then you've got to try and reorientate yourself.
Well, once he got it into his arms, he can see the white line. It's only natural to dive over.
Which white line? So a let-off for Cambridge. And that could prove crucial, because, you know, these games in recent years, there's not been a lot between the two sides.
Again, though, Bill, you'd have to say, a demonstration, fantastic skill, isn't it? It's a try you'd see like that in Super League. Well, if he got the ball down in time.
It's happened in Super League. I think it's happened in Super League. I seem to recall Dale Cardoza having a moment like that. Here comes Cambridge, though. Oh, the bad pass from Marchand. It goes behind Jamie Franklin, and Franklin will chase his own kick. It could turn out nicely here. Clark has lost it, and Bradshaw has to retrieve the situation.
Well, we've seen an end-to-end game in the opening quarter of this match. Maybe the defence is not moving up as quickly, and the floor really, the momentum favours the attack of both sides, but that suits us. We're going to see some action, we're going to see some tries, as Matt Scaife tries to run from dummy half, held by some solid Cambridge defence.
Scaife, another player who's turned out for Oxford Cavaliers in the conference, the summer conference. There's Johnny Scholes. Scholes. And Clark, legs pumping. And Barr, I think, will look for a 40-20, but he's just stepped outside his own 40. He was practicing those in training yesterday.
He really is a very good kicker of the ball. His technique is structured as well as Deakin or Farrell. And we saw with the accuracy of the crossfield bomb, probably kicking his strongest point in the game. It helps the Oxford side get out of trouble when they're trapped in their own half. Just look at the work rate, though, of the hooker, Johnny Scholes. Not involved in that tackle, but he's involved in the majority that the Dark Blues make.
Here goes Nick Rustling. Rustling, a Yorkshireman. And a very talented player.
Well, you can see there on the wide shot, a typical example of what I was saying earlier is that Oxford good with the football, but they hang back in their defensive line. That could be a problem late in this game.
Marchand has put too much on that one, I think. Yep. We'll go dead, and he's disappointed with that one.
I think, Bill, it gives both teams...
Sorry, Phil, this is not the only action tonight. An important Challenge Cup fourth round game postponed from the weekend, and Oldham ahead 4-0 against Charleston.
Well, it was one of the first breaks in play, really, and after 20 minutes, I think both sides just catching the second breath now. Johnny scores out of acting half-back. Good offload, but it's knocked on by Peter after it.
Well,
I think we'll come back for a scrum down.
Oxford knock on, says Ashley Klein there. Highlights of that Oldham-Charleston game will be on later, and the winners of that can look forward to a tie against Warrington. Home to Warrington. What a juicy one that would be. So, Cambridge, good position for them. Andy Charlton. And then it's with Ed Hales, and Hales is tackled. They've only made a couple of metres after all that. Rustling. Then Hugh Thomas. Cambridge just playing it steadily now. Sam Gluck is off the bench and on for Cambridge. Welsh students player Gluck. And here's the full-back, Jamie Franklin. Franklin puts a little kick in, and it's well dealt with by Alex Edmonds. Yeah, brave again. He's got a lot of guts, that guy.
Yeah, it's a good option there. Maybe the runners on the outside, but they're trying to hem the Oxford side down here now, and there's one or two bodies just putting their hands on the hips and trying to catch the second breath. It's a real test now for Oxford. Dan Cooper, one of their fittest players, is prepared to go on with it.
And then there's Peter Raftery, one of the three Blues in this Oxford side, full Union Blues. And they just get a half blue for this, but that's some recognition, and they have struggled for recognition, as A.D. Spencer was telling us earlier on. Things like players having to play under assumed names. Some of the characters from Trumpton, apparently, at one point. And that ball went out on the fallen bar, put too much into that. He certainly can kick a ball.
Yeah, he was put under a bit of pressure by the defenders coming at him. I think the wind as well a bit confusing to him, and a turnover. Great position now for Cambridge to launch another attack. Anytime you get to play the ball inside your opponent's half on the first tackle, all sides usually get excited at this chance of getting close to the opponent's line and coming away with some sort of joy.
Ben Dunnett has come on for Oxford. He's replaced Joe Clark, who's earned a well-earned breather. Scored a try, got through plenty of work as Clark. Here's the Cambridge captain, Bobby Forrest. There is Joe Clark. Rustling.
Ed Hales is great at offloading in the tackle. If he can't make ground, he'll tip it onto somebody.
Hugh Thomas takes them closer still. They go for the short sniping try. He's got that ball down. Well, I think Ashley Klein is going to give the penalty against Andre Bettinson for a double movement.
Well, initially he looked unlucky because Steve,
I thought he was.
You thought from this angle that maybe he'd got the ball over the line. He held it up. And
Nick Rustling.
Yeah, the ball carrying arm has not hit the deck, and I think he's been denied the 4 points that he fully deserved. And the referee's on the wrong side, so you can't really blame him. We don't have the video referee, of course, but so, I must say that really should have been a try.
A let-off at either end then. Bradshaw denied one end, and then Nick Rustling, the Cambridge hooker there. I think he made the mistake of trying to confirm it, and then just to rub salt in the wounds. Bobby Forrest is penalised.
Yeah, and Oxford needed that because Cambridge had gained the ascendancy. Here it is. Ben Dunnett taking it in, trying to pump the legs and drive strong, but Cambridge are penalised for holding him down in the tackle and slowing the play of the ball down illegally.
So after that dramatic opening, the game has just settled into a bit of a mid-pitch contest, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and we're just waiting for a player really to impress himself on the game. It's Johnny Gorry tipping it on to
good defence.
Still good speed, as you say, Bill, there to get up and trap him on the gain line.
Craig Bennett with the tackle on. Cambridge are penalised again.
Not standing square at the play of the ball, and well, Johnny Scholes, it was quick into the dummy half and went into it.
Well, Ashley Klein is telling Craig Bennett what to do there, and Bennett should know best. Well, not better than the referee, I'm not suggesting that.
Well, it was obvious.
Nobody knows better than the referee.
Yeah, but Jared Smith wasn't behind the man inside there. But I just feel that John Evans, the Cambridge coach, is quite happy with the progress that they're making with their big forwards. They don't appear, Cambridge, to have too much quality and skill out wide, so they've got to stick with what they know best.
Yeah, I agree with that, Steve-O. And they're defending with plenty of enthusiasm, which is all they can do when they don't have the ball. Look at that, driving the man back, 3 men in the tackle. They've controlled the play of the ball, and we'll see how quickly the defenders come up now.
It's John Corcoran who was tackled. Scholes with the run. Right in front of those posts, about 20 metres out now. Here's Peter Raftery. Raftery's still going.
Swinging arm there from the standoff, Eddie Hales. He certainly didn't miss then.
Barr. Scholes, big ball out wide to Llewellyn ap Gwilym. Oh, and he gets the ball to Bradshaw. Bradshaw will take him on the outside, and he'll get there. Bradshaw, will he get his second try? Watch that white line, Johnny Bradshaw. He's got there. And there's no mistake this time from John Bradshaw.
Well, he's a talented player and he's showed the skills here. Cambridge will be disappointed. They'd held him out for so long. They got caught short of the numbers. And then even so, they've got 3 players who would be upset that they haven't prevented Johnny Bradshaw from scoring there. Once he got to the side of the field, they were probably running. He stepped back inside against the flow of them. It's a long ball from Scholes to ap Gwilym. Quick pass on, didn't go first to hand. But a bit of footwork and then a bit of strength was too much. And Bradshaw goes over again now for a try, probably against a run of play. 10 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately they had a try disallowed, give away a silly penalty. They got themselves into a good position to make sure that they got the 4 points.
Barr has missed that one. He'll be annoyed with himself for pushing that one wide of the post, but Oxford ahead by 16 points to 4 now.
You talk about the quality of certain players out there, and having someone that's a linchpin. Little doubt this Johnny Scholes has been involved in everything, hasn't he? I mean, it was a beautiful long pass. Watch the combination there with his standoff. Missed out 2 would-be defenders, and there was always going to be an opportunity, especially when they went far too high, as Paul Marchant did.
So once again, Cambridge with a bit of a hill to climb. They need to try and respond as soon as possible. There is Scholes. Well, he's learned well from watching some great players at Widnes alongside his grandfather.
Yeah, he was mentioning Jonathan Davis and 1 or 2 others when we spoke to him. We went to watch Widnes when they were, in fact, the best side in the world. They defeated Canberra. He was there at Old Trafford back in 1989. And he's learnt a lot over the years watching them. And other sides in Super League now. Johnny Gorry now takes on the line.
4 tackles gone. Here is Llewellyn ap Gwilym. A fine name that is. Ap Gwilym meaning Williamson, apparently. Oh, now then, did he knock that on? I think he's might have got away with that. Ashley Klein didn't see anything wrong with it. And Barr puts plenty of boot to that. Well taken, though, by Jamie Franklin.
Just looking for somebody in the Cambridge side to ignite them, get them downfield.
Rustling goes up the short side, but good defensive work. That time from Chris Fitzgerald it was.
There's sometimes a danger, Bill, that when you're behind by this many points and you've been building up so long to the game, that you try and win the game on your own, and it's important for Cambridge that they don't do that. They stick to what they've prepared to do and play as a team. Got to look at the support play. Very often it's a one-man runner and there's probably 20 or 30 metres before there's any of his teammates close to him. They need to push up and support the ball carrier more, Cambridge.
Craig Bennett takes the tackle and they'll get the penalty. And just on the pitch, Andy Clements is penalised.
Well, never made any attempt to get out of the play the ball area, which the rule states.
Well, I think he was trying to when the ball was played, but he left it a bit late. And there's a lot of him, Andy Clements, 6'6".
Well, I don't know about moving, Bill. It looked as though he was an ant that was stranded.
Well, here goes Sam Gluck, and Gluck bowls over Llewellyn ap Gwilym. Now then, this could be a crucial time for Cambridge. Rodri Hughes, big man off the bench. And, they're keeping it in among the big men. Bennett it was. And now maybe they'll shift it wide. Long ball, way out wide. Trying to keep it alive, and just short of that line, I think it's Andy Charlton. 5th tackle, good defence this from Oxford. The ball is back with Marchand, and Marchand stabs the kick in, and it, I think, comes off an Oxford player, but accidentally into the hands of I
think it hit the player on the floor, didn't it?
Yeah. So he's going to give Rulitz the turnover.
Some good skill though from Cambridge when they moved the ball wide. I think it was a long ball from Ed Hales. They kept it alive. But again, you have to compliment Oxford and their defence on their own line as Clements tries to take it forward. Always three men. When we went to watch Cambridge, they did a lot of work on the technique when tackling a man to control that situation. And they've done that pretty well. It's just on a couple of occasions they've missed tackles. And Oxford have taken their full advantage.
I must say that Oxford quality, especially on that close to their own line, good work from the standoff. Not only has the ability with the ball in his hand, but good effort from Graham Barr on the defensive side.
Barr it is in possession at the moment, and will try for a 40-20, and he might get it this time. That's going to find touch, and that is a cracking kick from Graham Barr.
But it's about 5 metres short of a 40-20.
No, I beg his pardon, I'm just as bad as John Bradshaw. I got the lines confused.
It's broke to the left earlier than he needed it to, and Cambridge will be relieved, because you get the feeling, Steve-O, when Oxford get close to the Cambridge line, they've got the players with the ability to get over it somehow.
Yeah, the quality's there. Graham Barr, his half-back partner, Johnny Gorin, and we've already seen the skills of Johnny Scholes, the skipper, in the hooking role, and that they certainly have the skill and the quality over above their opponents, who really are having to just work on their ability in the forwards. They don't really have much speed out wide from what I've seen in the first half.
Alex Fries felt that tackle. Here's the captain, Bobby Forrest, trying to ignite his side. Quick play the ball. Rustling. Now with Sam Gluck, and Gluck steaming up the middle. Fifth tackle. Needs to be a good kick from Marchand. Marchand stabs a little one in, and Barr is there very coolly indeed, and he could get away here, Graham Barr. But he came back in towards where the Cambridge defenders were. Raftery, big tackle from Alex Fries again, involved since he came on. I beg your pardon, it was Chris Fitzgerald who felt that. Llewellyn Ap-Gwilym.
Strong player, isn't he, the left centre for Oxford. Difficult to put down. A lot of experience in rugby union, and using his skill in league as Andy Clements goes through the first tackle. It was Rusling he got over the top of. Quick play the ball. What will Scholes do? Move it on.
Dan Cooper. Fifth tackle, and Barr just again telling people what's coming, and he'll put a kick into the corner, I think. Another hanger, and another one for Jamie Franklin to take, and he did well there.
Well, it's a bit like when Bradford kept peppering that Reece Wesser in the Penrith side. There's not a lot you can do at fullback when the ball's coming down, this player's sprinting at you. He did well, Franklin, to take the ball. Now then, penalty to Cambridge. They want to go on with it quickly. Marchand looking to kick to touch.
It's a very close game, 25 minutes gone, and Oldham ahead by 4 points to 2 against the amateurs from Charleston.
Well, you can see, Bill, that when Cambridge do have the football, they're making the ground forward. Look, it isn't as though Oxford are very, very quick in the first and second markers. Trouble is, they just can't complete.
Sam Gluck takes Cambridge over the halfway line.
Back up, on now.
Oof. Gluck back again with him, and a good run. He's got through some good work as Welshman Sam Gluck since he came on for Cambridge. Here's Marchand now. And Franklin is there. Franklin almost through, gets the pass away.
Well, it looked as though it went forward, didn't it, from
it
where
did,
we were
an offside against Oxford.
You're offside. Yeah, you didn't play at it, but he played at it.
Giving a penalty against Johnny Scholes. Great ball there, wasn't it? How he hit the hole.
They'll take the tap, and Forrest goes close. The captain just short of that try line. Here's Alex Fries. Fries is driven back. That's good defence from Oxford once more. Rustling will try himself. He's been denied once. Will he be denied a second time? He's just short of that try line. Is he giving it? He has. This time he's got over it. And Nick Rustling, the Cambridge hooker, a big fan of Jimmy Lowe's. Well, that was classic Jimmy Lowe's.
Well, I was a bit beginning to worry who in the light blue jerseys could find a way over the line. They'd been fortunate. A great run from the fullback, Franklin. He was held there in the ball. Great tip on there. It's Ed Hales who then passes it again, and the penalty there, as you see the Oxford player offside. It came off Johnny Scholes, the 9, and a quick tap penalty, very much like Jimmy Lowe, just went hard and low, ducked through 1 or 2 and put the ball on the line, this time rewarded for a good try. It was important that they got one because they'd had a few chances to score, missed those. They haven't missed those 6 points though.
Good opportunist run there by Nick Rustling, and they're back in this game. Full credit to them. They'll need to keep their forwards working in the second half, but they're far from out of it.
Paul Marchant has added the extras, converting Nick Rustling's try, and Oxford ahead 16-10 now. What a game this is turning out to be.
Two different styles as well, Clarkey. As we've mentioned, Oxford quite happy, strong forwards, but they're making that little half break down the middle. Cambridge, of course, they've shown their quality, and Oxford, of course, getting the ball out wide.
Yeah, there are two different styles. If anything, you'd have to think that the Dark Blues at the moment, just struggling a bit in defence. They don't seem to have the enthusiasm that Cambridge are going to take towards half-time.
Ashley Klein working very hard to keep Oxford onside.
Well, you see another example there, the Oxford first and second markers not working strong. And you can see also Oxford's defence, they're just hanging back, they're not moving into the faces of the Cambridge lads.
Law student Craig Bennett with the run, it was for Cambridge, and their tails are up at the moment. Marchant has that ball back from Ed Hales. 5th tackle, and who's going to put the kick in? Franklin is screaming for it. It's Ed Hales, in fact, who, it's not a bad kick, puts the kick in, and Edmonds, I think, is going to have to bring that one back. And what's the chase like? It's good, but I don't think it's good enough. He's just managed to get out of the in-goal area.
Well, we were saying, weren't they, that it's in the Cambridge side, they seem more enthusiastic. Obviously, they're 6 points behind and coming up to half-time, but they're really chasing their kicks harder. And little Johnny Gore is forced to run from the dummy half position.
Rustling it was with the tackle.
Biggest problem now for Cambridge is that they cannot lose their concentration. We've already seen Oxford scored a beautiful try from deep within their own quarter. They've got to concentrate, the Light Blues.
And it was this sort of move, but Llewellyn Aquilin has gone without the ball this time.
Well, they've got 1 minute remaining now to make that mistake pay. Is that a big game? That's the first error of the night, but it could prove very costly indeed. Clarkey, you know the advantage of scoring a try just before half-time.
And that's exactly what they want to do here now. Marchant goes. Be a great score for them now if they could get over.
Alex Freeze. About 30 metres out. Rodri Hughes puts the shoulder in. Simple but effective from Cambridge at the moment. Forrest. Good defence so far from this Oxford side. Marchant now. Franklin was the dummy runner. It's with Craig Bennett. 5th tackle. Probably the last opportunity of this first half, and Marchant just puts a kick in. Bradshaw, and Bradshaw gets out of trouble. He's knocked it on though. But is there time enough from this scrum?
Well, again, now Cambridge starting to put some pressure on Oxford with the kicks. I think that, generally speaking, it's the Oxford side who've got a better kicking game through Graham Barr. But now that's a dangerous one. Great opportunity from 5-10 metres out. You can see somebody in a light blue jersey just diving over this line.
Charlton tackle just about 6 metres out. Marchant, Alex Freeze now. Freeze comes back infield, and that's the last action of this first half. And Cambridge have fought their way back from a pretty disastrous start, conceding early tries. And they've closed it to just 6 points at the break. And Oxford, I think, will feel that they've probably let their grip slip in that first half. They made a cracking start, but at half-time now, it's Oxford 16, Cambridge 10.
And it's a terrific 24th P-cubed varsity match between Oxford and Cambridge. Oxford just with their noses in front, and it's all really thanks to John Bradshaw, with 2 tries in that first half. And the number 5 for Oxford could have had a hat-trick if he'd only just read the lines right. But it's 16-10 to the Dark Blues at half-time.
He's coming. And the big guns of the European Tour are getting ready. Tiger Woods and Ernie Els in the Dubai Desert Classic with Royal Bank of Scotland. Tomorrow, 7 a.m, Sky Sports 1.
Ford Fiesta. Rock solid.
Delivers 80 million promises a day. If you can't take it personally, we will. Royal Mail. With us, it's personal.
England's story.
Everybody was saying, kick it out, kick it out. So the cat man kicks it out.
England's story. Out now on DVD.
You've got something incredibly important to do. Where are you going to do it? With a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, and a wireless-enabled home, you can connect to the world all over the house. Maybe even outside the house. Intel Centrino mobile technology.
Your call means a lot to us. My bank gives me nothing but recorded messages after 8 o'clock.
Hello, Mr. Mason. Result, my blood pressure goes up. Mr. Mason, you're absolutely fine.
Talk about tense, nervous headache. There's got to be another way.
What my diagnosis, love? Try another bank.
The rock-solid Ford Fiesta from just $6,995.
Fires started by cigarettes kill more than any other. Put it out. Right out.
It's a Derby Rangers dare not lose. With Celtic dominant in the league, the Cup offers Rangers a chance to restore some pride. What could be sweeter than knocking out their great rivals? The Tennant Scottish Cup 5th round, Sunday 11:30, Sky Sports 1.
We have action from the quarter-finals of the FA Cup this weekend. On Saturday from noon on Sky Sports 2, Manchester United are home to Fulham. And on Sunday from 3 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 were live from the Stadium of Light. It's Sunderland against Sheffield United. Live Rugby League midweek on Sky Sports, and Oxford University and Cambridge University in front of our cameras for the very first time. Oxford ahead, but only just at the break by 16 points to 10. Entertaining first 40 minutes down at the Richmond Athletic Ground. Congratulations actually to the two squads of players. They've given us plenty to talk about. Adi Spencer is here, a former Cambridge University Blue himself. The standard, you know, for people who are watching this maybe for the first time, the standard's fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys have been training for this for a whole 2 terms. Getting these guys into a mindset where they can get back to the referee and come forward and actually work their defensive line as if it were natural to them, as if they were born and bred rugby league players, is a difficult thing. And I think, you know, they've proven that some fantastic plays out in the field. The ball has moved from side to side from the Oxford side. I think the Cambridge team very much hidden it up through their forwards. I think that's where they see their strengths. But it's been a smashing game end to end. Superb.
Yeah, great entertainment. I mean, we saw a couple of early kicks that looked rugby union-esque, but, you know, we will forgive them those. A couple of questionable decisions by the referee, but I think Ashley Klein, fair play to him, he's trying to keep the game going, he's trying to keep us entertained.
Yeah, I think he's making sure that the game flows. Like I say, these guys, some of them new to rugby league, some decisions haven't gone their way. I think it's important that the game flows, that we see a real spectacle, and that seems to be the case. You know, credit to both sides. They're putting on a real show.
16-10 it is at half-time, but Tolson, what a start for Oxford. First attack, 1 try posted.
Yeah, it certainly was a quick-fire start, wasn't it, Eddie? The Oxford team off to a flyer straight away, scoring that first try after only 45 seconds or so. But John Bradshaw, he could have had 3 tries in the first half. The first of them here was from a lovely breakout wide by Ap Gwilym. But Johnny Scholes, the hooker for the Oxford team, was superb in that first half. It was him that put them away here, and Bradshaw goes in and scores his first try, puts Oxford out to an early 6-0 lead. Nice dive as well. Joe Clark brings it back, another one for Oxford. The defensive line of Cambridge just not coming off the line there, not giving them the opportunity there to get it ahead. But you can see Cambridge hanging back, and just a too easy try there for Joe Clark. Cambridge, though, they did strike back. A little bit lucky here. The new rule, he wasn't playing at the ball. He wasn't looking at the ball, so they got 6 to go. And from there, Bobby Forrest scores a try out wide for the Cambridge side. They haven't really done a lot out wide in that first half. They've pretty much been up the forwards, but there Forrest does well. John Bradshaw, we said he could have had 3. Well, unlucky there. They brought the line up for the rugby league game from the rugby union pitch. He doesn't get across and score that try. And then Nick Rusting, a no-try double movement. Now, if you look at referee Ashley Klein, he's on the far side, so very difficult for him to see that. Bradshaw's second try, superb work again by Scholes out, and Ap Gwilym as well. And he doesn't have a bit of work to do. Poor effort here by the fullback for the Cambridge side in Franklin. But a try there for Bradshaw, scores his second, too easy. And then, at the very end, there's 6 to go here for the Cambridge side. I thought they were a little bit lucky here. 6 to go, a penalty was given. He wasn't playing at the ball, so it could have been a scrum set down. From there, Rusting, he goes across and scores a try for the Cambridge team. But probably Cambridge have been let down in that first half by their kicking game, and also the defence just sliding before going up. And that could be also put down to a lot of players playing rugby union where they're too busy sliding across the pitch and not going up first. But in the first half, the skills that have been on show have been totally adequate.
Fantastic. Some terrific skills, some great offloading, some great courage from both sides. I mean, there was 1 tackle in that first half. I thought the Oxford lad wasn't going to get up. It was a real bell ringer, wasn't it?
It was. I think if we were looking at him, we were talking, weren't we? I think the Cambridge boy was probably looking to stay on.
If not, it would have been Super League, Steve, I would have gone apoplectic.
It would, you know. Maybe he deserved 10 minutes, maybe he actually deserved to go off for good. It would have been a tragedy for the Cambridge side, I think, if they'd have gone down to 12 players at that stage in the game. But I think second half, I think, in all honesty, the team, it's a basic game, rugby league. The team that controls the game better, the team that does play the percentages. I think looking at the game, towards the end, we saw that the Oxford defensive line did get a little higgledy-piggledy. They were tired. Cambridge were starting to take the ascendancy, and I think Oxford, personally, will be a little bit disappointed to only be 16-10 up at half-time. And judging by fitness levels, if Cambridge can keep piling the pressure on, naturally I'm fairly partisan. You know, I do believe that they were turning the screw in the last 20 minutes there, so from my point of view, fingers crossed that they can come up trumps.
Well, we shall see. There's 40 minutes left in this game, and of course there is 40 minutes or thereabouts left in the Challenge Cup tie as well at Oldham. And Oldham, they're having a real battle against Charleston, aren't they, to get through to the home tie against the Warrington Wolves. 8-4 at the break, Oldham over Charleston. That's the Challenge Cup. This is the varsity match, Oxford against Cambridge, and only 6 points in it at the break. Oxford beginning the match as clear favourites, but Cambridge, after a dreadful start, they've got themselves back into this game. It's anybody's in the next 40.
Hundreds of thousands of innocent people may die within a week. Don't negotiate with terrorists, Jack. have another option for you to consider.
24 continues tomorrow at 9 on Sky 1.
Need a release. Try new cherry menthol flavour airwaves and breathe easy.
Unsurpassed engineering, unparalleled technology. Nothing else performs like it. Champion, Mach 3 Turbo Champion. It's the closest, most comfortable shave. Now with a red-hot new look. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion. From Gillette, the best a man can get.
They don't care about much. Criminals. Apart from getting caught. Give them half a chance and they'll have it. This bloke got careless. He left his bag on his car seat.
Cheers! Never leave your stuff on show. Don't give them an easy ride.
Come on, Audrey! How come Brenda's fatter than you? 50% more sheets, that's why! Bounty Fat Rolls! Think you'll find a fatter roll? Fat chance!
Tiscali Broadband offers a choice of high-speed internet packages from as little as $15.99 a month, including modem and completely free setup. To order, call Tiscali Broadband free on 0800 107 9000 or visit tiscali.co.uk.
Now you can get a large pan or Italian pizza and new cookie cake creations for just $10.99.
Look, I made you, Dad.
At Pizza Hut.
Wow!
Lacoste pour femme. Fragrance for women.
Good night.
Good morning.
Club World. More beds, more places, more often.
27,000 nuclear weapons. Just one can start a war. Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman. The sum of all fears. Saturday at 8 and 9 on Sky Movies.
Live Super League back with you this weekend. On Friday, 7:30, Sky Sports 1. We're at the Halton Stadium. Widnes against Huddersfield. Saturday night, we're down here in the capital. London Broncos against the Saints. Saturday, 6 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Well, the P-Cube Varsity match nicely poised at half-time. By the way, the two teams are playing for the K.J. Lee Trophy. It's a trophy that has been donated by a Korean businessman whose son played in the Varsity match just 12 months ago. So a glittering prize that's on offer here tonight for Oxford and Cambridge. We have Adi Spencer and Tolson Tollett here in the studio. Tolson, have you been impressed by the standards? Certainly we have.
Yeah, I certainly have been impressed by the standard. I thought the hooker for the Oxford team, Johnny Scholes, has been outstanding. Getting out of dummy half there, making some yards against a pretty slow at times Cambridge defence. I talked about the fact that they're moving sideways before they're moving up. I think that's important for the Cambridge team in the second half, but I don't know about you, Adi, but the Cambridge forward pack, when they go up, they seem to be going out one out. They need to really go in twos and threes.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to get that mindset to these guys. You know, again, going back to the point that many of them are new to the game, possibly only playing it for two terms. I think, personally, Johnny Evans the Cambridge coach will be, will be fairly happy with that half. I think he'll be saying to his guys, look, go out there, tighten up your defence for 20 minutes. He's got to work on that right-hand side. We've leaked 2 tries down that right-hand side. Could have been 3. Tighten up the right-hand side, and the last 20 minutes, let's take it forward in the forward pack and see what we can do.
The last thing that Cambridge need is a start like they had in the first half.
Absolutely. I think Bobby Forrest, the Cambridge captain, both captains, as you mentioned, Tilson, very, very important. But Bobby Forrest got to take control of his pack. He's a very influential character, and he needs to get his boys fired.
Well, it's the one good thing we can say about this, and I've been to a few of these Varsity matches, Tilson, is at least it's not raining tonight.
No, it's not raining, Eddie. I'm sure Steve O'Clarkey and Bill there are nice and warm up in the gantry position, but it certainly is perfect conditions for this game, and both teams are putting on quite a spectacle. It's a good performance for 2 teams that haven't got a lot of experience, but they're giving the crowd their money's worth.
And they both desperately want to win this, don't they, Eddie?
Their whole season hangs in the balance. This is the only game they need to win. You can go through the whole season and win every game but lose this one, and your season has been destroyed. It's as simple as that. There's so much peer pressure. You go back home losers. Tragic.
Well, you saw John Bradshaw has scored the 2 tries. Let's get back to the ground. Commentary led by Bill Arthur.
Well, there's only been one draw in the history of this Rugby League varsity match. That was in 1995 when they drew 22 all. 16-10 the scoreline here in the favour of Oxford, who get this second half underway. And not a lot to choose between these 2 sides, Philip.
No, there isn't, and I can't see though there being a draw. I expect we'll see an exciting second half with quite a few points in it again. Most of these sides probably better at attacking than defending, which really we'll just have to see who can take those chances and go away winning this prestigious varsity match, which means so much to both sets of players. They say of all the games they play all season, it's irrelevant really the scoreline of the majority. It's how they go on in this game that really matters, and it's the make or break for both sets of teams.
We saw there that Johnny Gorry has left the field for Oxford. Johnny Clayton has come on in his place, and suspect that might have something to do with that knock he took in the first half. He played on, but he's probably feeling a little bit groggy, and so Johnny Clayton from Blackpool, Arnold School old boy, and Arnold School, a famous rugby league school with Barry John Mather, an old boy there, and John Bevan, a teacher there as well, I think, at one stage.
Well, Cambridge have begun the second half like they finished the first, with tremendous enthusiasm in the chase of that kick. Then big hit there on Dan Cooper. Look, 4 men in the tackle. That's how they like to dominate the collision, win that little area, and then work again here now to try and pull down big 17, isn't it, Andy Clements.
Clements, whose rugby league career is at its early stages, shall we say. Hasn't had an awful lot of experience.
There's a man seems injured there now. I think he's fallen awkwardly in the tackle.
It's Sam Gluck, and Gluck, it looks as though he's spark out, and he went in very low.
Just couldn't get the head to one side, really. Had one of his own teammates right over the top.
Yeah, he's...
you see that he gets right into the body.
Well, he's thankfully...
Oh, that is one big hit.
There he is. He's up and about. Well, he's up.
He did go into it awkwardly. You say it's early in the rugby league career for many of these. The vast majority hadn't played rugby league before they went there, but say that once they've had a game of rugby league and they've had the opportunity to run with the ball in the hand, they prefer this game to the when they play rugby union. So I suppose if you like to run with the ball in your hands and get involved, the game suits these guys and they want to play it as much as they can.
Well, Sam Gluck, I think, was protesting that he could stay on there, but
they've done the right thing, Bill. Safety first at this point in time. You never really know when you get a bad injury like that. It could start stiffening up at the top of the spine. You've got to be exceptionally careful.
Barr puts a big kick in again, and once more Jamie Franklin is rock solid underneath that. Wasn't a lot of pressure on him, but it's a bitterly cold night and there's a wind swirling around this Richmond ground.
Well, Cambridge have lost Sam Gluck, but Oxford have lost their left centre, Ap Gwilym, as well in that tackle. He's injured his knee and Gluck's injured his head probably. They'll both recover.
Oh, you're right, actually. He's just out of shot at the moment. Llewellyn Ap Gwilym is just hobbling off the far side of the field. I think you can just see him there at the top of the picture. So it was a costly collision, that was. 5th tackle, and Cambridge in possession. Rustling back to Paul Marchand, and Marchand dinked that one into the corner, but straight into the arms of Alex Edmonds.
Not the best kick, really. Trying to apply the pressure, it would have been better suited to try to keep the ball in between the fullback and the winger.
But you made the point, Steve. Just look how hard Cambridge are prepared to work in that marker area. Again, they're doing 2 and 3 tackles consecutively and preventing Oxford from getting out of their own half.
A little doubt in my mind that Coach Paul Johnson will say, look, we were rewarded by keeping the ball out wide as quickly as possible. And I think that is what he's got to do. He's got to make sure that Oxford get back into the winning scheme that they had in the first half and give this ball plenty of air.
Well, Joe Clark, I think that was, felt that defence. And here is Graham Barr, and Barr is under pressure. It's good defence from Cambridge here, really putting the squeeze on there.
Well, John Evans does seem to have done a great job. He's highlighted 1 or 2 key points to Cambridge that he's wanted them to improve upon. And in the opening 5 minutes of this second half, we've taken those instructions and acted on them very, very well. This time, though, it's Oxford now. Again, both teams know that their opponents love to run from dummy half or have a one-out runner like that, so the marker defence is crucial. Offload off the floor there. They're keeping alive Cambridge, breaking through 1 or 2 tackles.
Franklin, and here is Rustling now. Rustling decides to go on his own. 4 tackles gone, they're just inside that Oxford half. Here is Craig Bennett. Bennett, 5th tackle. He's brought down by Scholes. Marchand. Now here's Ed Hales. Hales put a little kick in, and that's going to be another tester for Edmonds, and once more he's there. He doesn't shirk the contact, does he?
Well, they put him under pressure, Alex Edmonds, early in the second half. Big run there from Matt Scaife, and an equal tackle too from Andre Bettinson, who goes again. 2nd tackle there on Ben Dunnett. You have to think the enthusiasm in the light blue jerseys probably just tipping the scales in their favour.
You've got to be right, Clarkie, because as you say, they're up for this. They want to get back into the game. Okay, they're trailing by 6 points, but you can see there they are moving up. No, that's good work.
That's a great break from James Dieppe. Dieppe, a late call up to this game. That's the 5th tackle, though. They need a quick play the ball. And Cambridge have just had time to regroup, maybe. Scaife. Corcoran puts the kick in, and Corcoran will chase it himself. Oh, he could get there, John Corcoran. And I think he's going to get that.
He's knocked on.
He's knocked on.
He certainly has not grounded that ball correctly.
Oh, and John Corcoran knows he's blown a great opportunity there. It was quick thinking from him.
Well, he knew that there'd no fullback in the line. In the end, it bounced away from the winger. Oh, agonisingly in the in-goal area, can't ground the ball and get a crucial try. Oxford, both teams wanting to get ahead.
Well, we saw injuries early on for both these sides. Let's get the news on that from Ben Pro.
Bill, John Gorry, the Oxford scrum half, he's been told by the physio there's been a recurrence of that neck injury and he will play no further part in this game. As for what the coaches said at half-time, the Oxford coach Paul Johnson accused his side of a bit of complacency after that early try, and he wants to see them sealing some of the opportunities that they created in that first half. As for Cambridge coach John Evans, he was pleased with a strong end to the first 40 minutes, but he wants a better kicking game from his side and a better end product when they're in possession.
Thanks, Ben, as Andre Bettinson takes that ball up from Lysakov's grammar school in Kazakhstan to the Rugby League Varsity match. Quite a journey that is, via Tynemouth in the northeast. Well, once again, this game just settling into a bit of a dogfight in the middle of the pitch. Nobody really getting the ascendancy.
No, the danger though really in Cambridge now is the skill level. We saw just a minute or two ago, Oxford can move the ball wide and do have the pace if they find some holes in the Cambridge line to get through them. It's an attempted 40-20 charge down.
Bettinson put himself in the way there, but it means that Oxford have another 6 tackles. And Bettinson furious with himself. It was Graham Barr's kick, and here's Corcoran once more, and Corcoran away again. Just denied a try a moment ago. And Oxford just beginning maybe to turn up the heat here. Scaife had to force that pass, and that was good defence once more from Cambridge, but it's back with Andy Clements, and Clements gets the ball away to James Dieppe. He's known as Johnny Depp to his teammates. And they could do with a star performance from their substitutes.
Well, there's tremendous desire in the Cambridge defence, and they need it because really Oxford dominating possession the last few minutes. Just wonder whether they're going to tire now with all the work they're having to do as Graham Barr goes from acting half-back.
We haven't seen much from Barr in terms of running, taking on this Cambridge defence, and
here's Joe Clark.
Joe Clark, one try already. Storming run from Clark. And they're over, and the hooker, Johnny Scholes, I think has got that try. And Ashley Klein saw enough of that, and a deserved try from Oxford's captain, Johnny Scholes. And the pressure paid off there.
Probably a look of relief on his face. They'd had 3 sets of 6 in possession. Each time the tackle count wiped back. And then with that amount of ball, really, and in this sort of part of the field, big strong run there by Joe Clark. Takes 2 or 3 men, gives a quick play of the ball. The defenders still just organising themselves as Scholes shows it to a man outside, twists through the tackle and scores under the post.
Graham Barr, comfortable 2 points for him. And Scholes having an outstanding game, and his side now lead by 22 points to 10.
Sheer quality from the hooker and skipper. Knew the importance of taking the one slim chance they've had in this second half, but good build-up. As Clarkey said, they had 3 sets of 6, and you just get the feeling that the Cambridge defence, they were on the back foot. Good run by the prop forward, Joe Clark, put them in the position. Take full advantage of that. But don't write off this Cambridge side. They showed in the first half that they can clamber back.
Well, they're going to have to do that again. Franklin's restart is plucked out of the air by Peter Raftery, and Raftery is in touch, and that's great work from the Light Blues. Immediately getting an advantage. Ed Hales was there, and hand claps all round.
It's a great tackle, isn't it? Ed Hales, half the size of his opponent, and yet with a desire to push him out of play, win possession back for his side, and from this scrum, they need to score.
He's a fiery character as well, isn't he?
Great opportunity for Cambridge.
They've completed the sets, Bill, but the problem is at times they don't challenge or threaten enough with the possession.
Forrest trying to go on his own. Good defence it was from Clements. And there could be an opportunity. I thought it was going to be Jamie Franklin going all the way, but they've lost that ball, and that'll be a penalty, I'm sure. Desperate defence that time from Chris Fitzgerald.
Well, that's a silly mistake. They really have put themselves under pressure now. And keep your eye out for the hooker.
Hensman just on the field. Rustling has got 1 try to his name already. Marchand. They've lost ground though. That's good defence once more.
Well spotted by Scholes.
And guess who it was? It was Johnny Scholes, exactly. But a chance here. Dan Fritz, just short of that try line. Barr with the tackle, 4 tackles gone. Charlton couldn't go anywhere. Once more, Rustling goes for it. On the last. Well, that's a nothing kick, really, from Ed Hales, I think it was, and it really releases the pressure on this Oxford side.
Well, you couldn't see anybody really in the Cambridge side threatening the line, was it, other than a run from dummy half or a one-out run at the line. Didn't have anybody with a bit of movement or the ability to offload in the tackle, maybe create some second phase play. Joe Clark now, another strong run from him. Oxford look better when he's on the field for them.
He really has been a handful. There's lots of candidates for the Man of the Match trophy. Well, Raftery has laid out one of his opponents there.
It is. Oh, he went in awkward there, right into the shoulder. And Beddington is still down. Not surprising with the hit there.
They have taken some punishment, these players. The ball went backwards, and Jamie Franklin took an age to pick that one up. Bettinson is still down at the other end of the field, and
not surprised with the pace of the collision though.
This means so much to these guys, and they are just willing to throw themselves in the way of an opponent, as we've seen at some cost. Sam Gluck off in this second half, and now it looks as though Andre Bettinson has taken a big hit, and Bobby Forrest takes a big hit for Cambridge as well. This really is boiling up now.
Joe Clark is a powerful player, and he showed that again with that tackle on Forrest. Cambridge side just playing a bit one-man rugby at the moment, trying to win the game on their own.
Well, they're putting their bodies on the line, though. They've given away a silly penalty. It's just what Cambridge needed at a point where Oxford looked as though they were taking charge of that.
And Clements.
He didn't miss, did he? Whoa.
And Bettinson is still somewhere in the middle of next week at the other end of the field. Well, thankfully he's on his feet, slightly wobbly, and play continues. There really is no let-up in this pace. Cambridge desperate to close the gap. 22-10, there is Andre Bettinson. Marchand just lost his footing.
Good footwork though. We need the Cambridge side to just take on the defence, what to draw somebody out of the line.
Forrest, good support. 4 tackles gone. Lots of pressure from Cambridge at the moment, but nothing to show for it. A little kick from Ed Hales. Hales has put Alex Edmonds under pressure.
They've really peppered Alex Edmonds in the second half with kicks, and he's been up to every single test so far. There'll be a tap on the 20-metre line.
Well, Oxford have a bit of a hold on the game at the moment. 3 of the last 4 have gone their way. Is this one tilting in their direction? It's certainly in their favour at the moment by 22 points to 10.
Composure is the key now for Oxford. They've got that commanding lead. They're going to make sure they go through their sets of 6. Not as well as Cambridge has done so far. That just indicates that Cambridge, they've played a one-out game nearly throughout this match.
Good footwork there by Graham Barr. Step through the line. You can still see the commitment though from Cambridge. They're desperate to get the next score to stay in this match.
5th tackle. They've done well to restrict Oxford to the halfway line, and Barr again just having to put the big boot in, and Franklin I think is going to be happy to see that one go dead.
I don't think he could see it when that
I'm going to say, Clarky, I think the lights certainly affected him there.
There was nothing to do with the lights, it was how high the ball went.
nearly took out a jumbo, that one. Well, Sam Gluck is back for more. We saw the Welsh student take a big knock at the start of this second half, but he seems to have shaken that off. Clements is in there again. He's putting himself around there, Andy Clements, just adding his finishing touch to that tackle. Offside against Oxford.
Important penalty
Not
there too.
square, in fact, I beg your pardon.
Well, we spoke about the composure that Oxford certainly needed. That's good play, good offload.
Fries has got away. Oh, he had the man outside him. It was Dan Fritz, and they've lost the ball. A little bit of a scramble there between Fries and Fritz.
Well, it's the first time, wasn't it, that we'd seen some close support play from Cambridge, and they looked dangerous doing it. They lost possession. It's the danger when they try to keep the ball alive.
Just hint of desperation about Cambridge.
Well, I think they've got to start doing that to build their 12 points adrift. They've used the forwards very, very quickly, and look at that score.
Oldham 16, Shelfton 4. Oldham just about taking a grip on that game. The winners to meet Warrington, who hammered Rochdale, and that's the game we'll have highlights of later on in the programme. Well, nearly an hour gone here. Oxford ahead by 22 points to 10. And Graham Barr puts another kick in, and once more Jamie Franklin is well positioned to take that, and he's keeping this ball alive. And it's with Dan Fritz once more.
Well, Cambridge could actually become more dangerous to play against now as they see the clock ticking away and they're taking more chances, because we thought they were perhaps a little reticent to offload and,
they've got to risk
support the play.
You're right.
They need better support play, and they've recognised that. Somebody's got to go with Sam Gluck.
Yeah.
If he gets his hands free, and flow on the back of his run.
Though one thing that did surprise me is that the message hadn't gone out by the coach Johnson to Oxford that go for the 1 point, stretch it that little bit further.
Forrest, take him on out wide, Bobby Forrest. Now he's got support on the outside, but he's eventually tackled. The 5th tackle it was. Now Marchand hoists the bomb, and once more Alex Edmonds is underneath it. And again he does well, and Edmonds is away from 3 of them.
Great game, Bill. The skill, both sides wanted to counter-attack from deep. This time, Dan Barrett now takes it up. The speed of anything in this game, Bill, has actually intensified in the last few minutes. We've come to a crucial phase, and both sides realise that.
Barr. I bet both coaches probably doing their nuts on the sidelines. Clements.
Just basic football by Oxford, that's all they need. Get themselves into a good field position, apply the pressure, hope that Cambridge come up with a mistake. But if they get anywhere within the region of those sticks, they've got to start looking for the field goal.
Oh no, it had to come.
Graham Barr would fancy his chances from even halfway line. He can kick a ball, put it up again for 4.5, 5 seconds.
And the first mistake from Franklin, and they've got away with it. Well, in terms of Oxford not being able to capitalise on it, but they'll get head and feet at the scrum, and Franklin, well, you've got to feel a certain sympathy with him, because that one just sort of plunged out of the darkness, didn't it?
Probably maybe got a little overconfident. Previously been twisting and turning his body. If he lost it, it would have gone backwards, but you know, look at the look on his face. He needs his teammates to help him out of trouble here.
But solid tactics, they're realising, get a good field position, apply the pressure to the fullback.
And look at Joe Clark from the scrum here.
Yeah, this is a planned move. We saw this in training. Keep the big man out of the scrum and let him run at the Oxford defence, and Joe Clark did that. And here they come again, but Raftery's gone without the ball. A let-off for Cambridge there.
It's a huge chance missed there. They realise with that sort of field position, they want to get over that line again, but pass didn't quite go to him.
Well, they don't really need it. Why are they trying to play catch-up football when they're in control?
They've practiced it all week and they wanted to do it, Steve-O.
You've got to win this game. It's all about winning. We've been on about that both these sides are desperate to have a victory.
They want to win with style.
They just want to win. Don't worry about that.
They just want to win. I'm with Steve-O on this one. This is all that matters between these two universities, whether it's croquet or hockey or tiddlywinks or this Rugby League varsity match. There is so much pride at stake.
Good ball.
Here come Cambridge. Dan Fritz, and Fritz is caught in possession. That was the last tackle.
I think Dan Fritz has looked dangerous though when he's had the ball, and Cambridge perhaps should get it to him a bit more often, or he needs to go infield and looking for a little offload from a forward or a tip on.
I must say, Clarkie, that both number twos, Dan Fritz for Cambridge and Alex Edmonds, have really shone.
Yeah, they've had good games, haven't they? Got to go in now. Somebody from the Cambridge side's got to make a name for himself. It's not much to Ed Hales, but he throws himself into a tackle.
He
look.
certainly does, and then says, give me another one.
Boom!
Raftery was hit there, and there's 3 light blue players in there. This is terrific.
He hits the ball well, Peter Raftery. Clements on the back of that. There's some size in the Oxford side. They're using it to get on a roll. Last tackle looked for Graham Barrell again.
He will hoist another one, and Franklin knows it's go. Oh no, a little cheeky one, and he's chipped it, and that's a knock on. He's going to be offside. Well, they've got another 6, and
so the chip overs come off for them.
Barr. Johnny Clayton takes the tackle. Everybody losing their head round here, including the commentator. Here's Raftery. Raftery shrugs off Sam Gluck.
Surely they've got to go for the 1 point now. Just get that extra nail in the coffin.
No, that's not the style of Joe Clark. Oxford really putting the pressure on now. Here's Clements, and Clements will force his way over. I think he's held up there. That's brilliant defence. 6'6", 17 stone, and Clements couldn't find a way through.
Well, they used every single way of powering over this line. Tremendous. Here's a chip over. They got possession back for them. Cambridge couldn't take it in. And again, it's that repeated time in possession that gave Oxford the chance to win this game. Cambridge just about seen off the threat.
And you notice now they're being held up. They're using the old rule. They're not working to the new rule in Super League. Both sides said that they'd been working on the old rule throughout the full season. So that means that Oxford get head and feed yet again.
And Clark looking for a second try. Just about a couple of metres out. Scholes. Barr fancies his chances. Desperate defence from Cambridge. Scholes looking around for the options. One of them is another big man, Raftery. He's just short, is he? Ashley Klein, short, he says. Scholes once more. Ball popped up, and he is in. Dan Barrett finally finds a way through the Cambridge lines, and it had to come. The second rower, another big one, 6'3" and 14 stone, and he cannoned off the captain, Bobby Forrest, and gets the ball down.
It had to come because there were that many defenders worried about Johnny Scholes at dummy half. But there was a huge gap under the post. Great pass on to Barrett. He hit the ball at speed, hardly anybody in front of him, and he's crashed over for another 4 points. They used so many of the big forwards as battering rams. Cambridge had done well to hold them out, but sooner or later the time on the line had to pay.
Graham Barr, 3 from 4 from him, and there's another success for the Oxford standoff, and that could be the crucial score. It puts Oxford into a 28-10 lead. It's been a valiant performance from Cambridge, coming back each time, but what are their chances now of another comeback?
Well, I certainly don't think they'll give up. They've tried so hard for the majority of the game and still want to go on with this and play with pride. Maybe a short kick-off here could be an option for them. They need possession back quickly. They've certainly got the time left in the game to score enough points. Well, they've not got the players to do it. They certainly need possession to have any chance of scoring a try.
Well, from the body language, it's going to be a deep one into the corner and hope that they can force the error. Yep.
Still 15 minutes on the clock, and a score soon, and all hope would not be lost. But and Joe Clark has given them that opportunity. He's knocked that ball on, he's protesting his innocence, but it gives Cambridge a great position. He's claiming that there was a Cambridge hand in there. Well,
the next question then comes, who for Cambridge can come up with a try, Bill?
Now we're going to see. It could be Andy Charlton. And the Cambridge supporters on their feet in the stand, urging Charlton on. 2 tackles gone. Rustling. Forrest brought down by the try scorer Dan Barrett. Good tackle it was. They've got to get this ball wide, have they? They come back in field. Craig Bennett takes the tackle. It's number 4. Looking for a quick play, the ball they were. A knock on. And the opportunity goes begging.
Well, the pass went sort of between 2 men and Paul Marchant couldn't take it. Poor pass from acting half-back Ed Hales. And again, maybe the delay in playing the ball took out any impetus that Cambridge had then attacking the line.
I think psychologically they were a little bit down after Oxford scored that try.
Craig Bennett's down actually at the moment, injured. Just stop the clock while
you pose a question, Clark, in regards to which player on the Cambridge side could really just break down this Oxford defence. It has been their problem throughout this game, and the Light Blues realise that it's just through effort that they've got themselves in a position when at this point in the game, in the second half, you're going into the final quarter, you need some skill.
Yeah, that's true. Just while we've got a break in play, it's probably worth saying that I know we've got Oxford and Cambridge universities playing, but there are 54 major universities in England and Wales playing Rugby League now, so for anybody who used to think that Rugby League was just played in the north of England, that's no longer the case. And in fact, going back to the first round of Super League just a couple of weeks ago, there were 35 former students actually playing for Super League clubs, so just got to show how important student Rugby League development's been in the scope of Rugby League development as a whole.
Well, especially over the last 5 years as well, they really have developed it well, and full credit to them.
Craig Bennett back on his feet after yet another stoppage for an injury, and Cambridge putting the shove on at the scrum. But Oxford withstand the challenge.
And therefore, stand up, hands out.
And Johnny Clayton.
Back it up, don't milk it, you stand.
Accused of milking that penalty. Graham Barr.
And you talk about milking the penalty. Good refereeing by Ashley Klein there. He knows that both sides are really, really tiring. And he's just allowing a little bit of lax in the rules.
And offside against Bobby Forrest, and the limping Craig Bennett, 19-year-old from St Helens, went to St Peter and St Paul High School. Now it's Sydney Sussex studying law.
Well, again, I'd say probably those players not back on side. I remember when Scott Quinnell first came to play rugby league at Wigan, and he just couldn't quite get it in his subconscious that you've got to go back 10 metres.
Sorry, Phil, but
Rodri Hughes there again.
Impact from Rodri Hughes. He's just come on the field.
They've certainly made an impact, haven't they? We had one in the first half. Just a caution by the official.
John Corcoran came out of that one unscathed. A mild-mannered medic, Corcoran is described as.
Well, apart from those two incidents, Bill, that we talk about, the two high tackles, it's been played in a wonderful spirit. It's been eager from both areas.
Oxford on the attack. Barrett looking for another try. And another try here for the Dark Blues, and that really, I'm sure, would be the final blow for Cambridge. Oh, and then an immaculate performance from Johnny Scholes is blotted by that error. Probably a little bit of tiredness and a little bit of anxiety creeping in there.
Well, I just thought the man playing the ball, Roger Hensman, doesn't he run hard with the ball? I mean, he's seen off one or two of his opponents, just throws 100% effort when he hits the ball and hits the line.
And he doesn't seem to have much about him either. It's he's in a position that he gets through some heavy work. The mistake there by Johnny Scholes, okay, that's his first error of the night. He's had an outstanding game, though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, who's most impressive for both sides, Steve-O?
Well, I think the two hookers, Nick Rustling and, as we mentioned, Johnny Scholes, and the two halfbacks from either side. But I think the effort from both sides running with the football in the forwards has been good. A little bit lax in defence, but you sometimes expect that.
And they're candidates for the Sabob Mahuta trophy that goes to the man of the match. And Sabob, who died a couple of years ago, was one of the founding fathers of rugby league at Oxford University, a Kiwi. And he was actually banned by the county rugby union for having the audacity to introduce the game. And look how far it's come. Look how far Cambridge have come. And this could be a good kick and chase. There's a little bit of uncertainty at the back, and there's a knock on there. Cambridge are going to get the ball back one way or the other.
Well, Paul Markson's not giving up. It was a good hiss, chip and chase and harassed the Oxford defenders. They came up with a handling error. He's there, look, he's gone behind men. He's still chasing hard for it.
It's Clements who couldn't control that bouncing ball. The pitch here is in really good nick, firm, good grip. And can Cambridge challenge Oxford's grip on this game? They're keeping this ball alive. Ooh. With Hugh Thomas. Big one there. Rustling pops the ball up. Alex Freeze trying to get away. It's Oxford's turn to battle in defence. Ben Dunnett, good tackle from him. They've got numbers out wide here. If they can get the ball out wide, they come back infield.
Tremendous defence there. Putting their bodies on the line, leading the way yet again is Scholes.
A little bit of a set two in back play there, but another good tackle. And it was Ben Dunnett once more. Long ball out wide. Oh, they can take that pass in. There's a try here. But once more, the defence is superb from Oxford. And Dan Fritz is denied. Turned on his back there. It's on the last here. Marchant stabs the kick in. 6 to go. Another chance for Cambridge. It was played at, says referee Ashley Klein. Oxford actually went for that ball.
Well, if anything, though, Oxford are just growing stronger and stronger in defence. Even when they move the ball from one side to the other, there are defenders there. Can they get across this time?
Hales, oh, they blow the opportunity because Rodri Hughes couldn't take that pass.
You really do have to compliment Oxford. When they've been put under pressure, John Bradshaw just relieves it down the left-hand side.
And Bradshaw, well, he hasn't played that much rugby league, but he knows that he can't afford to skirt with that touchline. He came back in field. Raftery steamed onto that ball. It was a forward pass. He got the call from touch judge Peter Meadows. I beg your pardon, it was Gary Towie on that far side who was right on the spot.
Certainly got it right, but yet again, this number 8, Peter Raftery, running onto the football with so much vim and venom. He's impressed me.
Certainly hits that advantage line. There's a sustained period of time for which Cambridge are going to attack. The rest of the players just need to push up with the ball carrier a bit more. Just hanging back.
Franklin it was, the ball carrier.
That has been the problem, Bill, is the fact that the second phase has been non-existent, really.
Andy Charlton
All the way, guys.
takes the tackle. Cambridge desperately keen to get the try they need to get back in the game, but Raftery has picked that ball up and he could go all the way here. Raftery is tackled by Jamie Franklin, but great yards from the hard-working Oxford prop. Barr looking to get that ball out wide quickly. It's gone forwards.
What a shame there. It was a great opportunity. Once you've made a break, it's great if you can quickly move the ball out to your wing, because that's usually where the space is in rugby league. Here's the run from Peter Raftery. He's had a superb second half. Just look at the pace for a front row forward. Eventually Franklin catches him. On the back of that, they moved the ball wide, but the pass went forward. Bradshaw couldn't get in for his hat-trick try.
James Dieppe it was with the pass.
Just trying a little bit too fancy, but I think that deep down they realise now the Dark Blues has got this game. But Cambridge will want to finish with a flourish, and can they?
Well, there's an opportunity here for Dan Fritz, but again the scrambling defence from Oxford. Forrest keeping this ball alive, rustling. Scaife it was with the tackle.
Good hit there, Joe Clark.
Joe Clark in there.
Bent his back and drove his opponent backwards.
3 tackles gone, they're just inside that Oxford half. Here's Paul Marchand, Hales. Again, they're getting it out wide to Dan Fritz, and Fritz comes back in field.
It's been a great battle between Edmonds and Fritz on this side of the field.
There's been some big contests all over the pitch. 5th tackle that was, and again, Oxford defending valiantly. Hales. What's he going for? 6 to go, and Franklin is through. Oh, and that's a good tackle from his opposite number, Matt Scaife.
Should be penalised and sin bin.
It could be the first sin binning, and Ashley Klein has gone for his pockets. Cambridge have played on. Hensman, I think it was, that went over, but
little doubt it's
wrestling,
a professional.
I beg your pardon, wrestling it was.
Is a professional foul. He has to go to the bin.
And they'll come back and take the tap, and Rustling thought he'd scored, but they had to come back to where Ashley Klein had made the mark and start all over again. Meanwhile, Scaife has gone to the sin bin. But Oxford down to 12 men. Cambridge with a great opportunity here. 3 tackles gone. Rustling once more short. Forrest, a second try for him, maybe it is for the captain! And Bobby Forrest turns and says, come on guys, we're not out of this yet.
Well, they want to take a quick kick. Those 3 players, Marchand, the hooker, and the loose forward, Forrest. It's Rustling. All 3 really pose the threat, and eventually Forrest goes over. They want a quick try. The ball switched back inside. Good footwork. He dances on his feet, evades 2 tackles. Maybe gives Cambridge a glimmer of hope. Quick kick, there's the 2 points.
Marchand has added the extras, Paul Marchand. And it's 28-16 in favour of Oxford University.
Wonderful effort by the skipper there, Bobby Forrest. Neat little angle run back on the inside. And it certainly just split this Oxford defence, who I was about to say, Clarkie, Their biggest problem in the first half was that their first and second markers, they didn't work. They left too many gaps. But in the last 15 minutes, apart from that moment where Forrest has scored a try, they've been actually superb.
They've been great here now. Cambridge only chance perhaps, Steve, is if they score from this kick-off and then get one more shot at it.
Just a couple of minutes. But Cambridge really epitomising this contest, not giving it up. They need a length of the field effort. That's the only thing for it. Marchand, they've got to get this ball wide. They have got it wide. Now Forrest puts the foot down. They come back in field with Dan Fritz. Franklin. Hales it is, looking for a quick play the ball. That's got to be a penalty, referee. Joe Clark it was who was in there, and they're off. Oh dear me.
He's penalised Ed Hales for holding the markers.
That's it, I think.
Big great skill from Cambridge there. Kept the ball alive, moved it out, made some good ground. Maybe if they look back on this game and have any regrets, it's the fact that they didn't move the ball around a little more.
Ed Hales was penalised there, and well, he's been severe there as Ashley Klein.
Yeah, it rather surprised me as to what's gone on over the last 15 minutes. And the official, well, he's in charge, he's got the whistle. But I'm with you, Bill, that rather surprised me.
Well, he's close to blowing it for the final time, because the 80 minutes are just about up. And Oxford not keen to get on with things while the ball is retrieved. But it looks as though they're going to extend their sequence with another victory following on from last year's triumph. But it has been the contest we were told we'd see. A real full-blooded battle for supremacy and honour, with some courageous performances.
It's been thoroughly enjoyable, hasn't it, Clarkie?
It has, evenly contested, a lot of passion in the game, and again another good run. It's been very, very strong. Number 8, Peter after it. Can Oxford finish with a final try?
Clark takes the tackle, 3 tackles gone, and they're about 15 metres out. Barr is Clements, denied a try earlier on. Andy Clements. Again they go for the short drive with Chris Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald is still legs driving, trying to get there. That's the 5th tackle. They could go for a point here maybe. It's back with Barr, and he will with that trusty right foot. Add one more point. You got your wish. You got your wish, Steve-O.
I've got a big smile on my face. They really should have been doing this a lot earlier, but that is the final nail, and the smile on his face says it all. But what a credit to both sides.
Oh, and what accuracy from Graham Barr.
Oh, Steve-O can watch that on replay throughout the season. We'll get that dubbed on a tape for you, Steve-O. When you're feeling short of a drop goal, we'll just keep playing that for you.
I'll put it with your library, eh?
Okay.
Well, Franklin goes for a nifty restart and finds touch. So they will get head and feet at the scrum, but whether they'll have time to do anything with it, well, Ashley Klein has stopped the clock for a couple of injuries. Time for one scrum, he says.
This will be the last one.
I tell you what, Ashley Klein's had a good game. He's been on the same wavelength as these players. He knows that one or two of them are probably not quite up to speed with some of the interpretations. Franklin, oh, good ball from Franklin. Andy Charlton is still going. The ball comes out wide. It was a forward pass, a final pass of the game probably. Disappointment for the light blues of Cambridge. Jubilation for the dark blues from Oxford University, who've won this P-cubed Rugby League varsity match for the 2nd year in succession, led by the inspirational Johnny Scholes. And he and his opposite number exchanged pleasantries. Well, there hasn't been a lot of pleasantry during this game. It really has been a ferocious contest, and the honour goes to Oxford University, and the dejection goes to Cambridge, and it will be dejection because they feel it, don't they?
Well, they said they never recover from a loss, do they? Likewise for Oxford, well, they'll bask in the glory of this for quite a while. Probably in hindsight deserved to win. They just had a little more class throughout the side.
Yeah,
they took their opportunities.
A lot more skill, and they were a lot more organised late in that second half when their defence had to be solid. Full credit to them on that. But I must say, the hooker and the captain who will be receiving the trophy very, very shortly, Johnny Scholes, head and shoulders above most, I felt.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But again, it's all part of the successful development of the game of rugby league.
Well, let's hear from the two skippers now. Johnny Scholes and Bobby Forrest there with Ben Pro.
Johnny, you've retained the trophy, you must be delighted.
Absolutely, yeah. We've worked hard for this all season long, and the whole season rests on this game. And we just, the first half we were a bit nervy, second half we pulled together, and the boys have worked really hard, and they thoroughly did everything they get tonight.
Very close at half-time. How confident were you going into the second half?
It's the ultimate thing where you score in the first couple of minutes and then it works against you after that. Cambridge came back, showed a lot of heart, put us under a lot of pressure, but we worked so hard for this, and the boys knew that if they stuck to the game plan, calm down a bit, then we'd come away with it in the end.
And a try yourself, that must have pleased you?
Yeah, definitely. It's always nice to score, but I mean, it's a team that wins it in the end, and the boys have worked really hard for us, so we're really pleased with them.
Bobby, not really a lot to say in these situations. Very close at half-time, just went away from you in the second half.
Yeah, I think we just lacked the go forward that Oxford had. We didn't complete our sets. It's just very disappointing because we worked hard. They played well. They had a lot of go forward, and yeah, very disappointing.
So it's just about coming back next year and righting the balance.
Yeah, this was a sort of transitional year. We played some really important fixtures. We were very well prepared. Next year we'll be back, and a lot of preparation again, and hopefully we can get the trophy back. But well played to Oxford, and it's a good game.
Congratulations, Bobby. Thank you.
Well, I think you can really gauge from that the disappointment that Cambridge are feeling. He's absolutely shattered, and I mean Bobby Forrest matched, I think, Johnny Scholes in terms of trying to inspire his side. 2 tries from Forrest. It was a captain's knock.
Oh, it's an important situation to be in, and you know, winners will be grinners, and you saw there on the face of Bobby Forrest, very, very upset indeed. But he was vowing to come back next year, and that's the beauty about this. They played every year, and it's been a fine game.
You can see. You don't have to be a lip reader to see the Paul Johnston, the Oxford coach, talking to John Bradshaw about the try that never was. Life would have been an awful lot easier if he got his lines right. Well, there'll be extra lines for him tonight, I tell you.
He'd be relieved that they won, otherwise he'd never live down the embarrassment of that incident where he missed a try in the first half.
I think the problem is as well that he would have gone through this game, he would have had a hat-trick, but they were far too strong, and they fully deserved their win, Oxford, tonight.
Well, the Sir Bob Mahuta trophy for the man of the match due to be presented shortly. Meanwhile, the officials, Pete Meadows, Gary Towey and referee Ashley Klein, presented with their souvenirs of this occasion. And here comes the winner of the Sir Bob Mahuta trophy, and that is the Oxford prop, Joe Clark. We were told to look out for this guy from Gloucestershire, and he certainly has been an outstanding performer, and he gets the man of the match trophy.
Yeah, I mean, he came up with some big runs, but I think more importantly for his side, he came up with some great tackles at times. See, something's been said for the Oxford side. They realise now they can party and enjoy this one.
Well, they certainly can. Both I was fortunate enough to do a promotional shoot last Thursday for this game, and Bobby Forrest and his opposite, Johnny Scholes, they'd only have an orange drink. That's how serious. They wasn't going to have an alcoholic drink, they were going to make it right.
But who was it persuaded them otherwise?
I wouldn't dream of doing anything like that, Eddie. Billy boy.
Please, no. Sorry.
Different hairstyle.
We'll be back with Eddie shortly. He can respond to that one. Cambridge, meanwhile, get the commiserations. And won't mean an awful lot to them. They're going to have to live with this for a year. But they will be back for revenge next year, and they're beginning to just slip behind. They won 13, Oxford 9 until tonight in the history of the Varsity match, with that one draw. But Graham Barr and this Oxford side have notched up another victory, victory number 10 for Oxford University in this Varsity Challenge. And Oxford receive their winners' medals from John Piercy, the Vice Chairman of the Student Rugby League, and Paul Driver from sponsors P Cubed. And they will pick up the KJ Lee Trophy, generously donated by a Korean businessman whose son was involved in this Varsity match. And it is a magnificent trophy, with a stirring quote from General Sir Douglas MacArthur engraved upon it.
Well, probably more importantly than just the trophy is the honour that they take back. Prestige. The captain, Johnny Scholes, now just about to lift the trophy.
And this will be cheered, not just here at Richmond, but back at Oxford, because Oxford have won the Varsity match, and that means so much in the university city. And Johnny Scholes, outstanding performance from him and his Oxford side. They're celebrating victory tonight by 29 points to 16.
And well done to the boys from Oxford University who win the 2004 Varsity match. Terrific advert for Student Rugby League, I think you will agree. And you saw it here on Sky Sports for the very first time. That's the Varsity match then for another year. No doubt it will all be being enjoyed now by all and sundry.
He knows what it's like to lose his title. He knows how sweet it is to get it back. Is he good enough to keep his crown?
Harrison here. Huge left hook from Harrison.
Saturday Fight Night, Harrison v Estrada, Saturday at 8, Sky Sports 1.
England's story. The inside track on how England won the World Cup. From the men who really know, the players.
We were not going to lose this game. We were not going to lose this game.
He was not going to be a captain of a losing side in the World Cup final.
England's story, out now on DVD.
The ING Direct Savings Account gives everyone the high rate of 4.5%. Your money is free to go in or out whenever you like, and there are no catches. That's why we're the world's leading direct savings bank. Call now or go online. ING Direct. It's your money we're saving.
Broadband offers a choice of high-speed internet packages from as little as $15.99 a month, including modem and completely free setup. To order, call Tiscali Broadband free on 0800 107 9000 or visit tiscali.co.uk.
James Bond is back in his latest adventure. Starring Pierce Brosnan, Heidi Klum, and Willem Dafoe. 007, everything or nothing.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Get rid of your gremlins and get on. Oh, now for...
What are you doing, Petal? It's not for us.
Oh, why do we need to learn?
He's a clever kid. He won't need our help. Where will we find the time, eh? No, you don't. Let's put it down. Now, let's stick the kettle on.
Brushing up on your reading, writing or maths could only take a couple of hours a week. Call 0800 100 900 or press the red button to get rid of your gremlins.
Yeah.
Widnes against Huddersfield, Friday 7:30, Sky Sports 1. London against Saints, Saturday 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. The Tetley Super League returns to your screens this weekend, live here on Sky Sports. Right, let's take a check on the details, the final details of this 2004 Varsity match. Victory to Oxford, 29 points to 16. Bradshaw with 2 tries, Clark, Scholes, Barrett, Barr kicked 4 goals and the 1-pointer. Let's have a word now with the victorious Oxford coach, winning Paul Johnson, and he's with Ben Pro.
Paul Johnson, you've retained the trophy, you must be delighted.
I'm absolutely over the moon, to use a sporting cliche. We tried very, very hard in training. We came here, we tried to play the sort of football that we can, and when it worked, it worked. The effort that some of these guys have put in is absolutely top draw.
Very, very close at half-time, but you ran away with it a little bit in the second half, but you feel there were some missed opportunities even then?
Yes, I did. I thought if we'd have stuck to our pattern, we could have probably pushed our lead a little bit more. But, you know, it's a high-pressure game for a lot of these guys, and they tried to do things, and so I can't criticise them for trying. We've won. That's the main thing, and we've won playing reasonable football.
And how does it feel making you winning a match like this?
It's amazing. I'm 4-2 now. I've coached 6. I've won 4, lost 2. Happy, you know. And I think I may enjoy the evening.
I'm sure he will, in the company of 1 or 2 others. Congratulations to Oxford. We have Adi Spencer here, of course, formerly with Cambridge University. Still managing a smile on your face. He's alongside Tolson Tollett here in the studio. Still smiling in defeat, eh?
Just about, yeah. I mean,
they were the better side, Oxford.
They were, absolutely. I can take nothing away from them whatsoever. I think, you know, much as I'm gutted for Cambridge, I'm pleased for Oxford. They, in all honesty, they had more width outside. They played their patterns well. I think, as their coach has just said, they had some flair outside and they used it. I think Cambridge slightly too static around the ruck. We're trying to take it up around the ruck, but we're going in 1s and 2s. And when they did try and push the pass, they tended to drop it and made a few mistakes, which really was their downfall. We were sitting here, weren't we, just watching the big hits that were going in. I mean, what a fantastic showpiece occasion. It was just brilliant. Some of the hits that were going in were making us wince, and I can tell you, Eddie, I'm just glad I'm not playing anymore. Because it was
well,
brutal at times.
It was.
You know, I was just very, very impressed by the standard of defence.
Are we overemphasising things, or is it really Oxford and Cambridge's grand final, this?
There's no doubt about it. Your whole season is geared, even to the detriment sometimes, of your studies. So, you know, if you're putting your studies on a back burner just because you're going to play in this one important game. I mean, the Rugby Union Varsity match is in December. You only give up 1 term for it. This is, you give up 2 terms for this. And, you know, to lose is just mortifying. And I just feel really sorry for the guys because they're going to be absolutely gutted.
So there won't be very many firsts in the rugby league
think
team?
You might see a pattern develop.
Can you remember what it was like when you were there? Did you... You're talking from experience here.
To be honest with you, I was very, very fortunate that I played with some great players, and I didn't actually lose, so I don't know what it feels like to lose, but I can just... I just know the guys are going to go back, they're going to be mortified. It's like I said earlier on, you know, the amount of peer pressure, people expect you to go out there. They are the mortal enemy. It's as simple as that. Much as the game was played in a fantastic fashion, you know, for all the big hits that were going in, you didn't see any aggro between the two sides. You're still absolutely gutted to lose to them. And, you know, just look forward for the guys who are going to be playing next year, who aren't leaving Cambridge, to actually come back and, fingers crossed, take out their revenge next year. It's a long, long time, 12 months.
It is a long time, 12 months, and of course AD here has never ever lost a varsity match, so he doesn't know what Cambridge are going through at the moment. But you will, Tolson?
Yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it, for the Cambridge team? But I have to echo AD's thoughts there on the game. It was absolutely fantastic. The hits that were going on that second half there, I know they had the Sky Sports cameras in front of them for the first time, absolutely superb, but at half-time, they were well in the hunt, the Cambridge team, but just after half-time there, the man who was unlucky not to get man of the match, Johnny Sculls, he went across to score the first try for the Oxford team in the second half. But it was just superb work by the Oxford forward pack. They out-muscled the Cambridge pack in the second half of the game, and Sculls here from dummy half, just too quick out of there, and the defence just not getting off the line. Darren Barrett, the second rower, what about this for strength and power across the line there for his first try of the evening? We can see here from this angle, the defence again not getting off the line, and that was the problem with the Cambridge team all evening. They did get a consolation towards the end through their skipper in Bobby Forrest. He had a tremendous game for his team, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. A consolation, as I mentioned, and at the end of it, the Cambridge team lost by 29 points to 16. I thought it was a fair result for the Oxford team. They were the better side on the night. Cambridge, towards the end of the second half, they started to throw the ball around a bit. And it's just a shame that they couldn't do that in the first half of the game, because they had some good players out there, and we saw their wingers when they did get the ball. They had plenty of opportunities, but it just wasn't to be for them this evening.
No, it wasn't. It was a terrific advert, though, we said all night for Student Rugby League. And, AD, I just wonder, do you think it's because the Sky Sports cameras were there that these boys have lifted tonight? Because that was a standard that I, frankly, have never seen in the Oxford-Cambridge match in the past, apart from the mid-90s, of course.
I'd like to think that the standard's always been there. You know, you put the TV cameras in front of any sport, people are always going to up their standard, you would think. But I'll be honest with you, those guys didn't need any motivation. They didn't need the TV cameras there today. Their one goal today, and in fact all year, was to go out and beat the opposition. It's as simple as that. So I'm just pleased that they did. I mean, we couldn't pick out one individual who really shone out. I think I'd agree with Tilson. I thought Johnny Sculls had a blinding game and was unlucky not to get the Man of the Match award, but credit Joe Clark, he was fantastic too. There were just hits going in all over the park. I don't think the defences were particularly organised, or at times they did sort of lack any sort of straight line, but some of the individual tackles, some of the individual contests that went in were just fantastic, and it's and as you know, as we've said, great advert for the game.
Absolutely fabulous advert for the game. Well done to Oxford University then. They are the winners of the 24th P-Cubed varsity match. Now then, coming up after the break, the weekend action in the professional game. It was the Challenge Cup 4th round, and to come this week, the return of the Super League. We look back and ahead when we return.